Hello to my kindergarten class. In this video I'm going to tell you about the importance of keeping safe during this time. I know it might be a little bit confusing and you might be thinking, why am I at home? Why can I not go to school? I know it's a difficult time for everybody. However, we must stay at home to keep safe. In this video, I'm going to be reading you a story all about keeping safe. You might have heard of this author before, Julia Donaldson. She has wrote books like The Gruffalo, as you can see here in this picture. And at school, we also read the story, The Snail and the Whale. Can you remember that story? Where the snail goes onto the whale and he travels the world and sees lots of amazing things. In this story, it's all about how to keep safe. We're going to read this story now. If you can see the picture here, we have the witch and her cats and a frog and her little green bird. It says, "You better be safe. You better be smart. Stay on the broom, but stay well apart." As you can see, the witch is not very close to her cat friend, her frog, and the bird. It's because during this time, if you go outside, you must stay away from strangers. You must keep a distance apart. This is very important to keep safe. In this picture, we see a lion, two doctors, and a dragon. Zog and the flying doctors tell the lion with the sneeze. A sneeze is achoo. Don't sneeze on your paw and use a paper hanky, please. If you feel like you have the sniffles or you have a little bit of a cold, you should never cough on your hands. No. If you do, as soon as you cough on your hands, you must wash your hands right away. The best thing to do is to cough in between your arm, into the crux of your arm. Even better is if you have a piece of paper and then you cough onto the paper and then get that piece of paper and then put it in the bin. So once again, it says, Zog and the flying doctors tell the lion with the sneeze, achoo. Don't sneeze on your paw and use a paper hanky, please. The next picture, we have the Gruffalo. Have you read the story of the Gruffalo? It's one of my favourite stories. The Gruffalo is with the mouse, and it says, "All right," said the Gruffalo, bursting with laughter. "You go ahead and I'll follow 2 meters after." If you are outside, once again, it's very important to keep your distance to people you might not know. If you're in the supermarket with your mummy and daddy, it's okay to stay with your mummy and daddy, but it's not okay to stand next to somebody you don't know because they might be sick and they could give your mummy and daddy and you the sickness. So it's good to stay a distance apart. As you see, the Gruffalo is not next to the mouse. They are apart. This is very important. This is a picture of a big giant and a little fox. Can you see what they're doing? One of the most important things that we all must do right now is wash your hands regularly. If you touch something that you think, this might be dirty, you should always wash your hands after. Do you remember the song, wash your hands, everybody come along and wash your hands? Can you remember the times that you must wash your hands? when you go outside and you come back home, you must wash your hands. If you play with something that you might think is dirty, after you must wash your hands. During this time also, you should not touch your face. No, you should not touch your face or your eye. It's very important. Unless you wash your hands and you know your hands are very, very clean, then it's okay to touch your face, but only after you wash your hands. This page says, look me up and down. Look me up and down. I'm the cleanest giant in town. He is the cleanest giant because he's washing his hands. But he can't use the sink like everybody else. He must use the well because he's too big. Here we have the Gruffalo again. The Gruffalo and the Gruffalo child. This is just like your mummy and daddy and you. The Gruffalos stayed in the Gruffalo cave. The Gruffalo's child did their best to behave. Now this is very, very, very important. You will be spending a lot of time at home. This is because at home is the safest place to be. You can be close to your mummy, you can be close to your daddy, but you have to stay at home. Of course, the Gruffalo's home is in its cave, but your home is in your house. And another important thing, as it says in the sentence, it says to behave. Do you understand behave? That means when your mummy and daddy tells you, please can you clean your room? Please can you wash your hands? Please can you go to bed? Please can you eat your lunch, your dinner, or your breakfast? That means you must do it. You must listen to your mummy and daddy. It's very, very important during this time to keep safe, to behave and listen to your parents. This is a picture of Charlie and his cat and a little tiny mouse who sat on the books. It says, Charlie Cook has to stay in his house. He reads to the cat and he reads to the mouse. Now, as we said in the other picture, it is very important to stay at home. But that doesn't mean you cannot, just because you're not at school, it doesn't mean that you can't learn things while you're at home. It's still very, very important that you must be learning new things. What can you do? New activities. Read a book. Read a new story. Draw a picture. Maybe listen to songs on YouTube and listen to new words and vocabulary. It is always very important to learn something new every day. You can use the Kids A to Z to read lots and lots of books. Here you see Charlie, he's got a lot of books, hasn't he? He's got a book in his hand and he's got 1, 2, 3 more books next to him. Lots of books that Charlie can read. The next page, we have geese, a crab, a frog, an ox, and a bee. It says, the scarecrow's wedding can't happen just yet. When everyone's well, a new date will be set. Now, your mummy and daddy might have had a lot of plans this year. They might have wanted to go on holiday. They might have wanted to take you to a very special place. However, there are lots of things being cancelled or rescheduled. Rescheduled means they change the date from one day to the next day. So you might be thinking, oh, I was going on holiday this April. However, you might have to change it to a new date. This is very important to keep safe during this time. It might make you feel sad. However, you can still do these things later on. But right now, we cannot do the things that we want to. I know it's very sad, but once again, it's very, very important to understand that we can't do the things that we planned to do. Just like the Scarecrow and his wedding. It's very sad that he can't get married to his Scarecrow wife now, but he can get married to his Scarecrow wife later in the year. This page we have Granny and Grandpa. These are the aliens that are in a story. And it says, Granny and Grandpa are all on their own, but they always cheer up when the grandchildren phone. Now, I know you might miss your grandparents, maybe your grandmother or your grandfather, so it's very important to stay at home and not be with them always, because it's also important to keep them safe at this time. Very, very important to keep the elderly safe. But it doesn't mean that we cannot talk to them. We have a wonderful world of new technology. We can use an iPad, we can use a computer, we can use WhatsApp to keep in touch with your family members, and I'm sure your grandparents would really love to see you. So keep in touch with them as often as you can. Here you can see in this picture, the grandma and the grandpa is having a nice lovely video chat with their grandchild. Maybe you should do that today if you haven't seen your grandparents in a long time. Here we have a badger, a mouse and a rabbit. It says, give your soap and your loo rolls and everything else on the shelf, for I am the rat of the highway and I am taking them all for myself. Now, during this time, lots of people, they panic because they are very scared. However, it is very important to not panic. Do not worry. This might take a long time. However, we will get through this and in the end, everything will be okay. But another important thing is when we go to the shop, we should not say, let's take lots of these things. We need lots of this and lots of this. We don't need lots of things. We just need enough to last us this length of time. So we do not need lots of toilet paper and lots of soap. It is very important to share with one another. That's very, very, very important in this time to share, because sharing is caring. Do you remember that sentence in Affinity when I taught you that? Sharing is caring. And it's very important that we all care about each other during this time. This picture shows a cow, a goat and a pig and a hen taking shopping to an old woman. Stay in your house, said the wise old man. Oh, I did say that it was an old woman, but Mr. Matty made a mistake. It's actually an old man. As you can see, we have these animals. They are helping the old man go shopping, because during this time, it's not good for old people to go outside and do the shopping themselves, because they are very vulnerable and then they could get sick. So therefore, we must work together in a community, and we can help others by getting some shopping and giving it to the people who are vulnerable. The chicken says, "We'll do your shopping." The pig says, "An excellent plan." I know we can't do that always, and we can't always give all of our food away, but to have the community spirit and helping others is a very important thing at this point in time. Here we have the stick man and his family. It says, stick man and lady stay home in their tree, but they'll still keeping fit with their stick children 3. Here we have Stick Man and Stick Woman and their 3 little children. At this time, you might be thinking, oh, I don't have a lot of things to do. But it's still very important to keep active and stay fit at home. You can do exercises like star jumps or running on the spot. It is very important that we keep ourselves active because it keeps us healthy. And that's what they're doing. They're doing some exercises. Stretch up, stretch down, stretch up, stretch down. Can you do some exercises with me? Stretch up, stretch down. Can you touch your knees? Stretch up, stretch down. It's very, very important to keep fit and healthy. In this picture is our last picture for today. We have an old lady and her daughter and a cat, and they're knitting. Prunella and Pat are safe in their flat. A flat is another word for apartment. Some people live in houses, some people live in apartments. Being looked after by Toby McTat. That's the name of the cat. As you can see here, they're doing another activity. They're knitting a jumper. We don't need to knit jumpers in Brazil because it's very, very hot. But in some countries, it's very, very cold. Like in my country, England, it's very, very cold. So therefore, some people, they knit and make jumpers. Even though we might not knit a jumper, it's still showing that we need to do lots of different activities while we can at home. It's not always good to stay sitting on the sofa and watching Netflix all day and playing video games. It's very important to keep your minds active doing something else. Maybe creating a picture, maybe reading a book. So as you can see here, Prunella and Pat, they're knitting a jumper and they're doing a nice lovely activity together. You can do that with your mummy, your daddy, your brother or sister. Be nice to each other and work together. That's all the pictures that we have for today. I hope that's helped you to keep very safe during this time. I'm going to say goodbye now, and I hope to see you soon. Just remember, be good to your mummies, be good to your daddies, be good to your brothers and sisters, be kind and respectful to everybody, because this is a very difficult time and we must all work together and we will get through it because we'll be stronger and better after. Goodbye for now, everybody. I miss you all and I can't wait to see you all again. Bye bye for now.